Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. My name is Bradford Kelly, aka the business-minded barber, and I'm here with...
This is Delmar, aka the Prince, owner of the Royal Luxe grooming, and the co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers Podcast. Start the show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we are about to get started, and I don't want to hold you all at all any longer because we have DBEST coming to the stage right now.
What up, no? What's up? Oh, I'm so honored to be here with y'all today.
Man, it is a pleasure
to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored.
Yes. So now both of y'all names start with D, and I say
you got to clarify.
Yeah, I got to clarify. So I'm gonna call you DBEST.
Yes.
DBEST, and then D, that's you. Okay.
I'm just plain D.
Yeah, you just plain.
I'm just plain D.
I like the hookup you got going on, D. I like the glasses. I like the hat.
Yeah.
I like this.
Thank you. Trying to look more professional on our podcast.
That looks good. I asked my students, I said, should I take my hoodie off? They said, no, you're cold. My students love me so much. I was like, but is it professional?
So break it down.
Yeah.
So you talk about your students. So if for those that don't know, DBEST is an instructor, but please plug where you work and where you're able to support the student.
Well, okay, so prior to instructing, I cut as a barber solely for over 14 years. Owned 2 barbershops. I just moved to LA last year from Detroit after the passing of my little sister. So this was about, I don't know what happened. Am I supposed to be just me here?
Yeah, just you. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I moved here and teaching always been my dream. You know, I always, wanted to teach after cutting. And I also thought that I would want to do both. But, God's plan is so special. You look at other people's journey and then you compare sometimes. Well, all of the, most instructors are also cutting at the same time. Well, The Lord instructed me to solely focus on teaching and pause on taking new clientele right now because this is my first teaching job.
Yeah.
For me, I like to vet things that I do. I am fully invested, just like I invested my 14 years to building that clientele up. When I say build it up, I'm talking about 1,200 hours a day, built it up, overwhelmed in a barbershop, a long list of clients waiting on me. It was overwhelming for me because I had always been the only barber in my shop. I don't know what it was, but I never had a shop full of barbers that wanted to work alongside of me. So I've always even prayed for a team, So this is the first time on my journey I have a team. The other instructors, and they're obviously passionate about the industry. But because this was my first teaching job, I wanted to focus on this.
Yeah.
And then when I moved out to LA, I have been, I don't know if you guys see me, but everywhere on Hollywood Boulevard cutting hair, on the beach cutting hair. I've been hustling my whole life. Yeah. And this was the stability that I prayed. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm going to take some time and focus on this because just like I'm a master barber, I want to be master instructor. I want to know how to teach in a way that even if you get trained, it's not the same as putting time in years. And honestly, I think about when you think about, teachers and school, you remember, like, say you meet somebody that went to the same high school or college as you. And the first question they ask is, let's just say his name was Mr. Johnson. Oh, was Mr. Johnson your science teacher? Mm-hmm. It's something about that teacher that's been there for years that people know that has grown that has grown their reputation. So this is that new thing that I am focusing on, that until the Lord says, okay, and it's a certain type of clientele, it's a certain type if I'm going to cut hair, I want to own the barbershop. I'm just grateful that God took me outside of being so busy.
Yeah.
Cutting. I mean, the money was good, but it wasn't peace for me. Yeah. Everybody's life is different, Yeah. And it's very interesting. And it took a lot of my ego. I had to take it off with teaching the students everything that I know. I'm like making a bunch of DBESTs out here, to the point where they almost about to cut better than me,
That's a testament to you, though.
Yeah. So it takes a certain type of person, selflessness, to be able to give what you got to them and support them in that and focus on, I want to open shops for them to work in.
Yeah.
I'm on a business. This is what I was
saying
right now. Business minded barber, outside of the barbershop. So I'm a little, I'm on a different path right now.
Yeah, and the path creating is beautiful. Go ahead, D.
No, I just want to interject because Bradford, I think 2 episodes ago, I mentioned something about I don't have the ability or the gift that you have to teach. And I consider what you said that I have to work on that insecurity. So I want to ask you, DBEST, because now I have been presented with opportunity to go teach a salon full of girls who are interested in learning how to fade. You know, that's one of their weaknesses. They don't really deal with that side of the industry. But the owner of this place contacted me. She was like, I work with you at the suites, and I would love if you could come and teach our girls how to fade. They're really interested in learning. So I feel like a door may be opening for me to get into teaching or some type of mentorship, and I don't want to shy away from that because of my insecurities. Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of step into that. So what advice would you have for somebody like me who is thinking about teaching or doing some mentorship?
Let me tell you something. Aside from having 14 years in the barber industry as a barber, mm-hmm. I had never taught anyone. Okay. So I did like one-on-one classes, right? And, I've done a little skill teaching, but I had a problem when I first started because I was trying to teach them what I knew right away. You have to learn how to go back to the basics. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also ask them, me and my students are growing together. They have never been I have some new students now that are actual barbers. God is ordering your steps. Okay, because the opportunity wouldn't have never presented itself had it not been for you. Okay, yeah. So the fact, and all doors when they open are not doors that open from God, but if it was something that you wanted, like teaching, it's now it's time. You're gonna learn as you go. Mm-hmm. And I even had to realize, my students, they think I'm a walking book, but I have to even remind them that I always refer back to the book. I'll give you a seat. Okay, so I never, the things I had to pass the state board. I had to know these things. Yeah. But we don't remember everything in the book. So when they ask me a question, I answer that question with a question. And I tell them to go to the page. We are learning together. I even ask them, I'm finding new ways to teach them. They are adults. They're not kids. Yeah. So we can't teach them how we teach children. I found that Jeopardy, playing games, they love games. And one thing about adults, just like kids, they love snacks. They love snacks. We play. My students love me because it's fun. And then I have a passion for it. They know that when I am here, because let me tell you, even though I've always wanted to teach, I didn't know that teachers didn't make that money. So I'm only doing this because I'm passionate about it, not because it's making me rich, because that's the last thing that it's doing. But what it is doing and what it will do for you, as it's doing for me, is opening doors. Yeah. This and what you're about to do, it's going to be the beginning. It's just going to be the first door. So it's just like when I walked into the school, that was the first door. But I also had to walk into this classroom, so God is opening doors that are going to open more doors. And as you're teaching, you're going to meet and connect with people who are going to be able to help you open more doors. So I would say, and the reason why cutting hair is easy, after 14 years, I'm not learning anything new. Why I decided to focus on this, even though it was a pay cut, was because I'm learning something. I'm gaining a skill. I'm learning how to be not just a leader. I'm learning how to lead in gratitude. In adults, I have a 35-year-old student who's been cutting for 7 years. So God blessed me when I first started. All of my students was brand new. Oh God, perfect. Yeah. I don't have nobody that's going to challenge me right now. All right.
Be able to soak it up.
Yes. And learn a little bit of how to walk. Okay. So then I got this new student, and we have our orientation, and they said, well, you have a student who is he knows it all, and he's already a barber, all these things. And they was telling me all of the attitude, right? But when I met him, I don't know what it's about. When you know that somebody loves you, and I'm just here for you. I know you know what you're doing, so you say. Right. So, that's how I. So you have to prove it to me. So I'm learning how to use my feminine power in this. I'm learning how to be, people respect women. Men respect women, especially a woman who's here to lead you, especially not astray. So it's
amazing. Let me interject real quick, D, because what you're bringing up really, really good points. And I want to echo it so that people really hear some of the depth to what you said. One of the things that you said is that doors are going to open so that other doors can open. And some payoffs is not going to be monetary, but they're going to be substantive for who you are as an individual. That is humongous.
Yes.
If you don't realize that money is not the only payoff in life, then you'll burn yourself out trying to get this money and be empty on the inside. And so what you just brought up, DBEST, was a huge secret for a lot of people that are in this industry to learn how to quantify. As you learn, when you're learning skills, can't nobody take that away from you. So you can shift your ability to make money from just your physical labor to now being able to use your mind, use your mouth, and use more than just your physical hands. So that's a big key that she mentioned. Hopefully you guys caught that. I want to
it's just like this. We could also compare it to this. If you asked me for some money and I blessed you with it, even though you told me that you would give it back, I am not expecting that blessing to return to me from you. See, when you give somebody something, it may not always come back in the form that you gave it to.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you just gave it to, let's say it wasn't a loan. Let's say it was just me giving you something out the kindness of your heart. I'm blessing you.
Yeah.
And some people think, okay, I'm going to give and I'm going to get it back tenfold, right? So which means if I give him $10, I'm going to get $100.
I'm going to get $100 back. Yeah.
But it could be in a different way. You bless somebody with, you gave him $10 and he didn't, and he really needed it, where something will happen and it's not in a form of money that you get. It could be anything else. And
in the form of impact.
The impact is the biggest payoff for anybody that cares about other people. Like even as a barber, when you cut and you do a service and you know that you lace that person and they blended, they line is crisp, you got their beard right or whatever they wanted, you were able to achieve it. You don't feel the reward just by the payment. You know that when you get rewarded is when they look at themselves and they feel that confidence that they didn't have.
How about this? How about this? The cut was $50. You laced them. You gave him $100 haircut, right?
Yeah.
They didn't tip you. Not because he didn't want to, but he couldn't. He didn't have the money. But guess what he did do?
Got his interview, passed his test.
He sent you 10 more clients.
That's another one. Yes.
It's payment enough.
Yeah.
That's a different form of payment.
Even if, listen, I have had it where somebody had came in and they didn't have the money or client, anything that happened, say they didn't have the money. And I blessed them with a haircut.
Yeah.
And how about this? I got a perfect example for you.
Yeah.
The very first, I had moved to Hollywood, right? Yeah. So I'm from Detroit. I'm a hustler, okay? So I'm out here, I'm trying to build my clientele back up because mind you, I just left clientele that I built up for 14 years. Yeah. $1,000 a day was normal. Yeah. I started that over. So I said it was starting over. So I'm coming out here, I'm trying to build this clientele back again. Even though I really didn't want to, I was doing it because this is the gift that God gave me. I know I can make it with this gift. Yeah. So I went out there on Hollywood Boulevard because I'm walking by it every day. They selling stuff. I'm like, man, I can sell something over here. I know what I can do. I come out there, I set my stuff up, and I didn't know. I was nervous when I did it. Like, how long I'm gonna be out here until I get my first client? As soon as I set my stuff up, I looked up. I seen this homeless dude walking. He got his hood. I said, let me get you a haircut. He said, I ain't got no money. I said, come on, I want to bless you. This is my first haircut on Hollywood Boulevard. Okay, This haircut to this day. This was the man who had schizophrenia. You remember that interview I did? Yeah, of that young man on Hollywood Boulevard. Oh, that just blew up. Yeah. It viral on every platform. It went viral on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. This was just my blessing to him. It wasn't me trying to, I wasn't trying. Listen, I only had the camera. Let me tell you why. I only had the camera there because people love to be on the internet. Yeah. I'm not a big internet person, to be honest, but people love it. So I set the camera up. So I'm like, people gonna want to get a haircut because they know they're gonna be being recorded. Yeah. So as much as I didn't want to publicize that was what I did, and I just cut his hair, and that turned into me blessing that man, turned into continuous income, clients, and it just continued to trickle down into whatever it built by just me blessing that man out the kindness of my heart, not to gain followers, not to gain clout. I just set the thing up there because I needed for people to stop.
Yeah.
So it started with that one man giving them their haircut, and that's what I did every single day. When I set up on Hollywood Boulevard, I blessed somebody else. That turned into that. So
now I do want to ask you a question, DBEST. Got to make sure I say the right D. So, because I think that is very, very a big and it's a humbling thing that you did to leave Detroit from making over $1,000 a day and stepping into California with no clientele and wanting to build. What made you do that?
Well, okay, so my little sister, Lucky, she was killed 2 years ago. 3 days after Christmas. This her ashes. Say what's up, Lucky.
What's up, Lucky?
It just broke my heart. And I was still in Detroit at the time. And when that happened, I was like, when we found her, she was in the snow, dead in the snow. And I just knew that happened in December. I just knew, I said, I can't live here. I can't see snow again. So as hard as it was for me to just close my shop, and I had just opened it a year ago, I couldn't stay.
Yeah.
And I had to trust God. That was the story of Abraham. He said, just go. Honestly, I really didn't care what happened. If I was working in Luigi's kitchen, I was hurt. So I had to go. Yeah. So that's what I did. My boss, Miss Bessie, just walked in. Miss Bessie, come over here.
Come on, Miss Bessie.
They asking me my story. They talking to me about my story. What made me come out here to California?
Hello.
Hi. How you doing, Miss Bessie?
How are you doing?
Very good.
Good.
Welcome to Elevated Barbers Podcast.
I'm sorry?
So welcome to Elevated Barbers Podcast.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure. Amazing educator. Amazing. Yeah. We are so happy to have her part of our family.
We happy to have on the podcast.
Listen, she just saying that, y'all.
She saying because she's like saying it. No, she is inspiration to all the students, and her words of wisdom and her knowledge and understanding, and just giving all that knowledge to the students, really amazing. So she's a really good team player, and we're so happy to see her. And this is her first educator position, but I think that she's going to go a long way with it. And I think she's part of the family, and I would never want to let her go because of the knowledge that she has.
Oh, that is wonderful.
That's the nicest thing I ever heard her say about me.
You guys.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Bessie.
Oh, that's touching.
Yeah, she's sweet.
Yeah. But get back to your story though. So you didn't want to see snow anymore. So this is the reason why you moved to California. So how
I would be very depressed. So I was like, okay, I just gotta leave. So I closed my shop, and that was really hard. It was one of the hardest assignments actually that I had to do, was close my shop and come out here with no clientele, with nothing. And then I didn't have. But what I did have was a job offer from Barber.
Oh, okay.
I did have that. But I didn't have my California barber's license yet. So I had, this is. So I had come out here, and all I needed to do was take my test because my license had been 14 years ago. I got my barber's license in Florida at North Florida Institute. So because they couldn't, even though I had the experience and they seen my license in the system, my school closed, so I couldn't get no transcripts. I had a really hard time getting information from my school. Wow. So the board made an exception since they could see that I had gotten my license, that I needed to just take the test.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this is about to be easy. It wasn't as easy as I thought.
Yeah.
I failed the test twice.
Is this the written you're talking about?
Huh?
This the written test you're talking about, right?
Yes. So all of this, I thought I knew everything. I failed that test, and I was so discouraged when I failed it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I took some time. I think I stopped doing it, and I started hustling. I'm like, you know what? I can go out there and make my own. That's why I ended up on the street, on the beach. People think that what I was doing was for the internet, but I was doing what I had to do to survive.
Yeah.
I was trying to survive. I couldn't go to a barbershop. Then I met from In the Cut Barbershop, I met this guy from Detroit. He let me cut in there while I studied for my state board. And I was so confident this time. And I took the test again and failed it again. I said, I'm done with this. I think this is a scam.
Yes.
I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
And I took a break and I, kept hustling. And it was, I just really got tired of hustling.
Yeah, when you hustling, I do want to clarify, make sure.
On the beach cutting hair.
Cutting hair on the beach.
On the street. House calls.
No illegal activities.
No. House calls.
She was a criminal barber at that point, but it's all good.
Just because I wanted to do things the right way. I didn't want to end up in a barbershop cutting hair
without a
technically
license.
unlicensed.
Yeah.
So I had to survive though.
Yeah.
The people that would let me cut their hair, I cut their hair. And it no matter where we was at. We'd go on top of the mountain. We'd go wherever you went.
Yeah.
Go. And it was it was just a lot more growing that I needed to do. And honestly, I feel like if I had came out here and got that job, I wasn't in the right mind space yet. I feel like this is for somebody that's watching that know that they want something, but the door haven't opened yet. And you keep working toward it, but you keep failing. But failing is maybe just God is not saying no forever. He's just saying no for now. You're not prepared. I was not prepared for this, the magnitude of this. And had I took that job at Palmy, I wouldn't be at LACA. This is my family. This is where I feel like I can grow here. They are molding me to become a great instructor. I probably would have got kicked out the door. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm not worthy, but because I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't
in the mind frame.
So I'm just so grateful that I ended up here and not anywhere else. God's timing is so perfect.
It's impeccable. You be thinking that you know what your plans is gonna be, but you can appoint, but he can always disappoint, and his appointments are better than your appointments at the end. So,
or how about this? He opens the door for you, and you ain't ready, and you fail, and you mess up the opportunity and your reputation to go anywhere else.
You could do that. Yeah.
So I'm grateful that when God said no, when He closed that door, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, because that reminds me of like different experiences that I've had where you can tell that if something would have went the way that you wanted it to go, it would have been worse in the latter end. But yeah, Delmar, I know you had a question, so I didn't want to cut off. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to interject. I definitely can feel where you're coming from, losing a loved one that you're close to. Because I went through that exactly 2 years ago. And, I still was going to work, still was washing my face. But deep down on the inside, mentally, I was non-existent. So, you deal with the pain and you deal with the emotions of losing somebody, and it takes time. And like I shared on the previous episode, that I felt like I started catching my stride and started coming back into myself towards the end of last year. So now it's like I'm at a point where I'm good with the result of what happened. I'm at peace with it. And then
your camera went out, D.
Was it your sister or brother?
Oh, he completely cut off.
He'll be back in a second. There you go. I know what's happening.
What is it?
His loved one saying, "What's up?"
I ain't pressing no buttons. Let me get my real camera so I just edit. Okay.
There you go. All right. Is that your brother or your sister?
So this was my mother.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is my mom. Nah, but like I said, I'm at peace with it. I was at peace with it when she passed, but you still deal with the emotional roller coaster. Yeah. But now I'm laser focused on becoming a better host on this podcast, becoming a better co-host to my brother Brad, and just elevating in all aspects of life: personal, spiritual, business, financial, everything.
Oh,
just
God.
working on my personal development.
Yeah.
You on point. Your mom was saying, "What's up?" That's what happened to your camera. Hi, Mom, what's her name?
Her name is Sharon.
Sharon, she's watching you. She's so proud of you.
Yeah, I believe she would be.
I believe
that.
Yeah, I love what you guys are sharing, because this is real stuff that we go through, in life. You can look at craft, and you can look at being a barber, or even just whatever you're trying to accomplish in life, and you look at it so much that you can forget that you're a person and you're gonna deal with things that go on in life. There's a lot of different ups and downs that happen in life, but there is a depth that you have to have as a person that allows yourself to grow. If you don't allow yourself to grow through life, then whatever you bring yourself to will not get the best version of you. So it's key what you guys are both mentioning, is because you guys were able to accept what has happened in life and grew through it. Grew through it. And as you grow, then you get those opportunities that the doors may open, and you're more ready to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented. So I wanted to ask you, DBEST, as you moved out to California and you began to go through this journey of, as you were saying, how you would cut on the streets just to make sure that you could make ends meet. You were doing these different things. You blew up on Instagram. You blew up on Facebook. Your life began to move in a direction that showed you're positive. That's one of the things that I was attracted to you for when we first connected, when I met you at the NorCal Barber Expo last year, was your positive energy. Like, it was infectious.
And that was a really, really hard day for me, actually.
Really?
I didn't even make it to the whole expo. So God had been moving in my life, and I had decided I wanted to be sober. Okay, and that was my first social event sober.
Wow.
So I felt a little, I don't know, not as comfortable as I should have been, because this was new. Plus, I'm going through, everybody's drinking, and I just felt a weird way. But you made me so comfortable because you kept talking to me.
Who, me?
Yes. You sat right next to me.
Yeah.
And you kept asking me questions. And it was funny because we kind of was going back and forth, right? You remember that? I was telling you.
Yeah.
I was everything he said. It was funny. But he was, asking me questions. And I just really appreciated that time that you took, in the night hour. For it was the mixer when we was supposed to be out there. I don't know if you had a drink or what, but
I had the Shirley Temple. So because I don't drink. And so I felt like I was going to be uncomfortable in that environment. I was like, man, everybody going to be toasted and I'm just going to be sitting here.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? So I'm about to challenge him. Yeah.
It was Delmar. It was such an interesting event. So for me, when I get there,
you was thriving. That was a good time for you.
I know, but I'm comfortable with people. That's just my natural element. But the perception that I had of the event, I was nervous. I was uncomfortable. I was sitting there at the bar with the lady, and she was just like, so, because I was early. Like, I saw that you were there early, and I was there early, and I was like, okay, I don't know. I saw you on Instagram. You was just like, yeah, I'm gonna be here at the NorCal Barber Expo and all this stuff. And so I was just like, okay, I recognized who you were, but I didn't know you. And so I was like, man, she popular, man. Like, I can't just walk up to her. And so then I saw you were sitting outside, and I went to the bar and I got me a Shirley Temple, and I was talking to the waitress or the bartender, and she was just like, yeah, so nobody's really here yet except for that group out there. And so I looked and I was just like, oh man, that's that popular girl, right? So I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna have to go over there and say what's up and just act like I'm supposed to be here, kind of thing. But I felt so
he said act like I'm supposed to be here, kind of thing.
So I felt so.
No, you fit right in. You know
what? What it was your ability to receive me and your ability to include me. That was the two things that I didn't know if it was gonna work. So when I came over there and I was just like, hey y'all, you were like, hey, what's up? Like you greeted me, and I was just like, you mind if I pull up a chair? And you was just like, nah, go ahead, pull up a chair right here. You told me where to sit, and so I pulled up a chair right there, and then I just introduced myself, and then we just began to engage. And I appreciated the fact you shared the moment with me. Like, you didn't make it feel weird where I was just sitting there and then I just had to listen to y'all that were already talking, but you brought me in. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. You know what? One thing about you have a gift, and it's you never change. But people, that's not, you'll never grow. You're always the same. You know how how somebody say, man, every time I see him, he's always the same.
Yeah.
From the moment that I met you, the business-minded barber, how you speak, it's something very powerful about the man that you are. You are going to be very wealthy because of how you set yourself apart. You're not the same as people. You are always going to come off as intelligent, as curious, because that's what you came off to me as. You were very curious, you were intelligent. You also are very resourceful. Even though you were learning and you were sharing us maybe little things that you put on very well. So that's one thing about you. All you missing is a suit.
Oh yeah. No, I got those.
He got plenty of them.
Well, you set.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your business mind.
Thank you.
That's
Me too.
very, very admirable.
Thank
Me
you
too.
very much.
Brad has
Don't ever
inspired me
try
in
to
more
be
ways than he knows.
popular.
You said what?
Don't ever try to be popular. You are always going to be popping because guess what? The one who got the bag, they going to come your way. So don't worry about followers, the little things that's going to come as you grow. I remember United Barbers Club. When I met them, they did my very first interview and they made me feel so special.
Yeah.
I've always had this deep love for them. I watched them grow from 1,000 followers to 10K.
Yeah.
And I met them, what year was that? It was almost 5 years ago, maybe. I met them at the LV Barber Expo one year. I still had locks. So it was a long time ago, maybe more than 5 years ago, but they've been going at it for that long.
Yeah.
They have been literally working on it for that long. When people didn't see the vision, they were, they kept, and when they go on live and they only have 2-3 people, they talking to them like they talking to 1 million people.
Yeah.
Wait, I wanna interject right here because this is very profound for what we're doing with the podcast. Because sometimes it can be discouraging looking at the views and like, man, this episode got 3 views, but it's really not the views that we're doing it for. We're doing it because one, we're posting great content. We're also making great connections with other barbers who are like-minded and elevating it. And then eventually it's gonna pay off.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You see people that stay consistent and eventually it's just going to be that one time when your video blow up. Guess what those people are going to do? Listen, I had so many videos on TikTok that didn't do anything, right? When I made one viral video that took everybody to my page that began to watch all of my content.
Yeah.
Everything behind that one video suddenly began to matter.
Yep.
The oldest videos, I was like, I need to go delete it. I need to delete this. I need to delete this because everybody is watching. They said it's like a series. You could just go back and watch the transformation. Some things I want to delete, but it matters that consistency. It matters that you keep the same energy because they are going to be watching. Elevated Barbers is going to elevate.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. And the quality of the content right now is crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane, so keep that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate that too.
Quality of your content, how you do the videos is trendy. Everything looks great. The only thing that's is because God is developing you right now. Because guess what? If everybody was watching now, you're still on a journey of discovery.
Mm-hmm.
He's still developing you. So we can't be on top just yet. The climb, you're going to look back and you're going to have so many videos that people can go back to watch that you are going to be able to take a break. You know what I'm saying?
Looking forward to that break.
They're going to have so much content, you could be able to pause for a season.
Yeah.
And they're going to be waiting for what's next.
Yeah.
I decree and declare, you know what they say, excuse me, but if 3 of us is present and God is in the midst of us. So if we touch and agree on elevated barbers is elevating, this is just the beginning of a multi-million, billion-dollar platform for barbers. And because it's not just about you and it's about other barbers, it's going to grow.
Yeah.
It's not a selfless thing. It ain't like y'all on here just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Right. That's how we started, but the goal was always to have guests.
That's how you
just wanted
started.
to lay the foundation first, right?
And even in those conversations to each other, it wasn't just us talking to each other about us. It was still us talking to each other about industry and how to elevate and how to grow. It was still always about the listener, always still about the audience, always still about who we're trying to serve. So we have a servant's heart, both me and Delmar, and a lot of times
you building your family right now. That's how I ended up, the fact when Lonnie and Tamil chased me down at the airport in Las Vegas. They'll tell you the story.
Is that right?
Yeah, they did. Chased me down at the airport. And I was, in my opinion, I was nobody. I had a great image. I was walking around, the laws of attraction. This is what attracted these people to me. I knew the BB show inspired me. When I would go to the Bronner Brother Hair Show, they would have on costumes. It was big. It was a show. So I said, when I go to a barber expo, I'm going to show.
Yeah.
So
Did you come to the one in New Orleans?
No, I've never been to New Orleans. And I took I've been on a little break since, moving. I just getting back out to the shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the BB show inspired me. I know what a hair show is supposed to be like. So I wanted to, so I come and show up. This is when they found me. I'm walking around the LV Barber Expo. I have my showgirl. She in a big showgirl outfit and I'm dressed all up. I got security with me. I don't need security. security. I'm just creating the image.
Yeah.
Because we are in control. We create our image. And then it was me creating my image. Now I'm walking in God's image. I'm allowing him to lead me, but I was not humble, but they found me and wanted to interview me, and they made me feel important.
Yeah.
What y'all doing there, making people feel and giving them an opportunity to reflect. And it's special for the person on the receiving end.
Yeah.
So if you keep doing that, your family is going to continue to grow, because the people that love me, they're going to watch you.
Yeah.
That love the people that's on a platform on your podcast, they're going to continue to watch it, and it's going to grow. It's going to take some time. It may not, who knows, but don't stop.
Yeah.
You're just getting started.
Yeah. There's always going to be growth when you're going through a process. So that's what we in and stuff. We in a process, we in development. Like you said, we in the journey of discovery. I like that.
I'm so proud of y'all.
So I do want to dive more into you though. Like there's still some depth that we haven't
uncharted territory.
Yeah. So it's really interesting being able to have conversations with someone like yourself, because you have so many different facets to who you are. There's something that I've been able to witness, but I don't really have the education on it. Maybe you can share with us, what is heal mode?
Okay, so after Lucky passed away, I was in heal mode. And that's what this is. So this was this was the last thing she said on her story before she died. She was about to drive in the snow, and she was like, I don't even care. God got the wheel. And this is one of the heal mode shirts. So it was just the mode I was in. I was in healing. I was so I always just, I never liked I've always been a business-minded barber like you, right? Yeah. And so I like to create my own things.
Yeah.
Just like the Little Barber book. This is I'm an author.
What?
So
nice.
This was before you came. I'm actually about to republish the book. Okay. So actually the United Barbers Club did an interview with me and Ella. I released this book during COVID. It was 4 years ago. This is The Little Barber, which is first ever barbershop book with activities in the book. So I wrote the book and illustrated it. And this is real pictures.
Beautiful.
Ella,
that's tight. That's tight.
And at the end of the book, it is an activity book. Okay, so this activity book has word cross puzzles, and it also comes with crayons. Yeah. So you can.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Engage your child in so it's an advanced children book too. So your kid could even write in a book, how did the Little Barber inspire you? And it teaches health and safety in a barbershop. The Little Barber needs to know what not to touch. And so this book was also I had this book registered with OSHA, so it can teach you. So yes. And let me tell you, divine timing, because when I was about to have a book release when we got shut down for COVID. It shut down the whole thing. So the book never really got the attention that it so deserved. But since I'm in the school now and I'm getting back into the shows, I had just talked to Lonnie today about relaunching this and having my own booth at the Horticulture Barber Battle this year.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's coming back out.
Yeah.
It's divine timing again. In order to put these things out, you got to have the money. I moved out here. I had no clientele. I ain't have no money. Yeah. So I couldn't republish the book. So God's divine timing. Do y'all know that song? Ooh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. Yeah. You remember that song?
Yeah.
That song originally released in another country like 13 years later, it re-released. And it went triple platinum. It was just the wrong time. So now that I'm in school, I have an opportunity to go to school and, maybe other schools, but God's divine timing, I've just taken my time with it. I still, the book is done, and I was because I was going to update it, but I said, I don't want to change this. This was my first book, but I'm working on. So this is why I didn't want to go back to cutting in a barbershop, because I'm working on children's books.
Yeah.
I'm a 6-figure author.
What inspired you to create this book?
So in my mess. I was separating, from my ex-wife, and I was sleeping at my first barbershop. And we had joint custody of my daughter, Ella. She was 2 years old. So she would spend days at the barbershop. And my clients, to entertain her, would let her play cut their hair. So I started taking pictures, and she knew how to do everything. She knows what a one guard looked like. When I was doing house calls, even out here, she would go with me. She's the little barber in real life. She can do it. So I just started taking pictures. And after I closed my first shop during COVID, I just decided to take some time off cutting hair. I always took my time to do other things. I never liked to be put in a box. This happened a long time ago when I was at the barbershop, and I left the barbershop and I went over to the mall, and I ran into one of my clients at the mall. And you know what this client had the nerve to say to me? What you doing here? You're supposed to be at the barbershop. I said, that's it. I don't want to be put in this box that she's a barber. She only supposed to be at the barbershop. Like, we could be so much more.
Now, it's crazy how people have that perception of us because they feel like we're so tied to the chair. Like we don't have a regular life outside of the shop. Like, you do recognize I'm human, right? This is just my occupation.
So I just full-grown human. So time to come out the box. So that's why I say, just focus on teaching and trying to make some time to keep working on the books. The books. I want to be an author.
And
that's a way to passive income.
That's gonna be a very good route for passive income, because I always talk about this is, we're in the space as barber beauty professionals, we're in the space of selling a service. But anytime that you sell a service, that means you have to sell your time, you have to sell your body, and you have to sell your energy. But if you can learn how to disconnect your time from your money maker, then that's when you get a chance to have actual freedom, because time plus money equals freedom. So when you start to learn how to sell products, whether it's a digital product or a physical product, you have now created an avenue in which you are able to make money without having to spend more time, more energy, or your body. Because once you get through that phase of writing the book and making sure it gets out the way that you want it to, you can sell that book for 20 years plus and still be making money. After that initial effort, boom, now it's just going to be money that you make on the back end. And so
we don't, as barbers, we don't have enough books.
That's facts.
Yeah, true.
So, I'm just taking that, I have clients that have told me, like, you should do it, and how to build their clientele again. I'm not interested. I want to teach them how to do that. Because I did it. I'm not better than the 40-year-old barber that's still doing it. But, and it ain't got nothing to do with age. It's just what I want to do next. I get bored.
You're building a totally different client. You're building a clientele, but it's just a totally different, it's a totally different version of it. And the clientele that you're building is bigger than the room that you're talking to. That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. When you become an instructor, your ability to connect goes way further than just that classroom. You're affecting lives that are going to continuously change and hit other people. They'll be repeating something that you said to them in class to somebody else at the shop and be like, nah, you really got to think of it like this, because it's all about God's divine timing.
Come on now.
They're like, man, you right. So your impact and your clientele is building in a different way, and your payoff is coming in a different way because you're creating impact. You're not just creating influence. You're not just telling people what they need to do. You're changing the way that they think, the way that they move, the way that they even look at the industry. You're impacting them in such a deep way that as a person they're going to develop, and they'll always be able to look back at you and be like, man, you took that class with DBEST? Oh man, that one was fire, huh? So you're doing it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my best.
Hey, you doing?
That's right.
You doing your best.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, they're getting their best from you too. This is a key thing that we had the ability to have Tyreek Jackson on one of the episodes, and he mentioned something that stood out to me. He said when you take the time to really go after your dreams, when you achieve your dreams, you become a part of somebody else's dream. So the dream that they may have, they'll envision you and be able to build their own dreams through what your dream was. If that makes sense. So the fact that you're going and you're pressing past the things that you had to deal with in Detroit, the things that happened with your sister, when you got out here and you press past, how are you going to start doing clients with no license and different things of that nature? And you said, okay, well, I'm just going to start giving blessings. And now that you blow up on Instagram, you blow up on Facebook, and then you continuously grow. And you didn't get in at Paul Mitchell at the beginning, but as time goes on, now you're here at the Lock, and you're like, man, like I'm really achieving my dream. But now your dream is going to affect those that have dreams. And when those coming to your class, it's going to be on.
And be able to tell them about all of my failures and all of my disappointments, and be able to tell them, like, you can do it still. You can still make it. You can still, and even in your mess, the mess turned into a message.
And that's deep. I like that. The mess turned into a message.
And every test becomes a testimony.
I like that. So I got a question for you, DBEST.
I got to ask.
Can you share a memorable experience or a story from your journey in the industry?
A memorable story.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, I can. I have something for you. I show my students this. Give me 1 second. Let me grab something for you.
Okay.
Right. So this is what I show my students. This is my wall of fame.
I'm gonna blow it up.
This was a bunch of pictures. This is when I met Lonnie and Tamil at United Barbers Club. That was my showgirl I was telling you about. Yeah. This is how I would show up. Right? I was a show barber. Okay. That's what I love to do. My favorite thing. And this is when I learned how to be humble. Okay. I had all of these, we know men in the industry, they love women. Okay. So I had these showgirls, like Hooters girls. They were all dressed up in shirts with my face on it and everything. And I got a party bus. We was going to the barber. We was going to Motor City Barber Expo in Detroit. And I had all of them in there, and I competed. And I got on the bus, and I'm all thinking I'm all sweet and everything, And we had the biggest crowd at the expo. Okay. All of the people there, we all dressed in white. I have the girls putting flyers everywhere. And I just know, because I could cut. I was cutting too really well.
You came out like a boxer.
Yeah.
I learned this from the BB show. What is it? It's a show.
Yeah.
And this is entertainment.
Yeah.
And that's what my perspective was of the bar, of how it should be. I want to bring this show. I want to give them something to look at. So much so that at the LV Barber Expo, Floyd Mayweather noticed me. And he, I was striving off that. That was my ego. Yeah. I wasn't humble, but I was living. All right, so I get there. I'm on the stage. Check this out. I'm holding my razor in the air. Everybody's screaming. When I say D, you say best. D. Yeah. Everybody's going crazy, and I cut some hair. I cut that hair, right? Guess who won 3rd place? Not me. Guess who won 2nd place? Not me. Guess who knew? I was like, oh shit, she ain't won 3rd or 2nd. Everybody in the crowd, they getting ready for me, about to pull me on the stage and everything. 1st place goes to, it was not DBEST. Everybody started acting crazy. Everybody trying to figure out what's going on. 2 things happened. All right, this is what I learned about the Exes. A guy came from Miami. He invested a lot of money in this show. Obviously, they gave him 1st place. He didn't even think he won. He was even coming to me telling me, like, you won this. But they had to give it to him. He invested in this show. And 2, they like, well, she already thinks she won. We about to show her something. Blackball. Beyonce never got a Grammy. I was hurt, but it taught me something. Oh God, my ego was crushed. I had to get back on that party bus with all of my people. That right there, that was a blow to the ego, but it taught me something. A lot of on my journey in the beginning of my career, this girl with these locks wasn't humble, and it was me and my flesh. So now God leads me. Now I give him the glory. Now it wasn't me, So the highlight though, I had time. I was getting all of the love, and it was a great time. I was showing out. Look at this.
Yeah. You was feeling yourself.
That's that's how Lonnie and Tamil met me.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight. Taking that outfit, that showgirl outfit, and putting it on different girls to go to the city, you know, and just living it like I was a rapper. You know what I used to say? I'm the Diddy of I'm the DJ Khaled of the barber industry. We the best.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was, I really, really enjoyed hair shows, not just barber battles, but the show.
Yeah.
I like the show.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar story in the sense that I thought I won and everybody that was with me thought I won. But so I participated in the barber battle for context in Baton Rouge where I'm at. So I for sure had the best cut. But I didn't have any experience in competing in barber battles. So I didn't know it's about using enhancements and glitter, and the more stuff you use, the more stuff judges look at. And this one guy, his haircut was not even close to mine. But one of the judges was his teacher in New Orleans. He was from New Orleans. And he supposedly wasn't supposed to make the show because he was in the hospital that week. Now, I'm not denying that he, you know, didn't have anything wrong with him. But I mean, you put two and two together. He's from New Orleans. One of his teachers is a judge. He has this ESPN 30 for 30 story about he wasn't supposed to make it. And so eventually I lost. But I get on the elevator and everybody who's getting on the elevator with me like, bro, you obviously had the best cut. I'm like, I know that, but the judges ain't know that.
They knew that, but they gave it to, you know,
they had to reward the story.
I'm judged too. It's a little favoritism. So,
you
know, I don't want to say that it discourage the barbers that are really trying hard and they really, you know, they want to compete. And, you know, I don't want to, because it's not always like that. But there are times, you know, but that only thing that does is that should just make you want to work harder and want to make that cut to be undeniable.
Yeah.
So, you know, it happens.
Even if you don't win a trophy, in the minds of the people that look, you won.
But it's still a blow. It's still a blow.
It's still a blow.
Yeah,
it's
it
still
is.
a blow. It's still going to be a blow.
Family,
it's the ego though. It's the ego that take a blow.
That's good for us because we shouldn't have no ego.
Yeah.
I mean, but we flesh. But you know,
and this industry ain't nothing but vanity. This whole industry is about it. So
and I noticed that. I ain't gonna say nothing, but that's another thing that when I met you at that actual expo, I was fasting and I wasn't drinking, and the Lord was showing me things that I didn't like. So I didn't even stay because I seen a lot of that vanity and it wasn't about the people that was competing. Nobody shouted out the vendors, and it was all about, let me get my camera on that stage. Let me record me on the stage. And I didn't want to be a part of it. It didn't feel good to see that happening when you got all of these people that came to travel. They all came, you know, like show some love, come outside self. And, you know, I just seen it. I was supposed to be, I was supposed to be hosting that show.
Yeah, that's what I thought you would.
Like, hey, I ain't gonna fight on this stage for no. I couldn't do that because for me it wasn't about me. It was about them.
Yeah.
So
it was crazy, man. She came fitted, D too. She was fitted. She had the cowboy fit. You had your cowboy hat and everything. And I saw
have a good time, look good, and
you did it. But I did notice that I didn't see you because I saw you, and I was just you remember I don't know if I hit you up, but I was like,
you was sitting there with Phase by Armani doing an interview with United.
That's
what I see, and that's when you probably kept seeing me because I kept popping over there trying to see when y'all was done so I can get my bags from behind.
Oh, for your bags, y'all holding up your
I came with Lonnie and Tamil.
Oh, so for that show,
we came together. Those are my brothers.
Oh, I didn't know you came with them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's tight.
Yep, those are my brothers.
For context, may I ask who is Lonnie and Tamil?
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring them up on the stage. I'll show them on the video. But
United Barbers Club.
Yeah, United Barbers Club.
Boys, man, I'm talking about the love that they got for the industry, and the people is so selfless. And that's what I admired about them. But when I was at that show, the things around me, it didn't. I just got my deposit from Facebook. What I tell y'all, they just dropped $128 on me.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's that fast. That's that fast.
Yep. Yes.
To compliment what you're saying, DBEST, I gotta keep remembering. No, United Barbers Club has grown, bro. Like when I first met them, when I first met Tamel and I met Lonnie, it was at the Bay Area Barber Battle in Santa Rosa or something like that. And it was like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And they were the Sacramento Barbers Club. You remember that? They were the Sacramento's Barber Club. And then
That's when I met him.
yeah, you knew him at Sacramento. And then I remember engaging with them and I was just like, okay, yeah, but I'm not from Sacramento, so I don't see my connection to what you're talking about. And then when they came back, no, I started following them out as Sacramento Barbers Club, but I didn't join. And so I was like, okay. But then they shifted and they became the United Barbers Club. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like this, you're not just trying to, it's not Sacramento versus the world. That's what I was thinking it was.
That's why they changed it. That's why they did too, yeah.
Yeah, but it made more sense. Like they were trying to be a club that unites the barbers. And I was just like, oh man, yeah, that's like, I'm definitely going to be a part of that. So it's been good to see their journey. And that's a goal of mine, is to have Tamel and Lonnie on the show.
Yeah, and you know what?
On the
Even
show.
though this is podcast as well, I gotta say this: it's so many barbers in the world, you know, and it's okay with showing other barbers love. When you go in a grocery store, how many bread brands is up in there? The biggest aisle you see is bread, and they all different brands.
It's a lot. Yeah,
so
a lot.
The thing you don't see is old bread on the shelf because it's all getting bought. Everybody has a preference. Everybody has their people. Yeah. So no matter if you're a barber, we've been a barber in the same place, or we both do podcasts, or we both do this, it is something about unity and supporting one another and just, you know, appreciating and celebrating others' success. Because when we celebrate others' success, that invites, the universe says, okay, we're going to give them success. We are inviting it for ourselves. So this is so wonderful. And the reason why I keep thinking about United is because this is what it reminds me of in a way. I used to get really annoyed when people would tell me, you know who you remind me of? Big Blends.
Yeah, because you do the cuts on the street.
Yeah, but you know, in Big Blends, what I know about him and what I love about him is he is a man of God. So I can respect that opinion. I don't know him personally, you know, but I don't, you know, and it's okay. It's all right. But I used to get annoyed, like, but then I had to, you know, like take it as a compliment, like, okay.
Yeah, because it's amazing. Like when you learn how to celebrate collaboration over competition, then you can really become a champ in whatever you're trying to do. You got to celebrate collaborations.
Yeah. For a minute, I was feeling like a hater, like, man, let me stop hating. In essence, you are, because you're trying to put them down in your mind and say that you're higher than them. You know, like, man, comparing me to him, like I had to stop hating.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and it it's accepted, and it's a compliment because you know what he's doing is good. But at this point in time,
but I wasn't trying to be like that, you know. So that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with your intent at the end, right? It has to do with their perception. So their perception is their reality. It has nothing to do with what's real. But it's amazing because once you start to be like, oh, thank you, you know, you say thank you to that, then they can appreciate what you're doing. But and you try to tear.
Oh yeah.
It
ain't like, oh, you a hater and you trying to steal his idea. Oh, we see what you try to do. That's funny.
But this has been good. Delmar, I don't know if you had any last questions before we wrap up.
Nope. I think I ran through all my questions.
You got your flashcards?
Yeah, I got my flashcards, man. Because like I said earlier, I'm just trying to be a better host. I'm not gonna say I'm new to this. This is going on a year that we've been doing the Elevated Barbers Podcast, but I didn't bring my best last year. I had my reasons, but now that I persevered through that, I can bring my best. Yeah. So, but,
and you know what? I want to say something to you, Delmar. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay because we don't want to forget about that. That is your mom brought you into the world. Yeah. You know, that's
forever a memory.
Yeah, but not a memory in the past. You know, this is what made you who you are. And also, using it to persevere. But so when you say like, I didn't bring my best, that it was for valid reasons. Regardless of what you did, you have been through that's a tough time. That's why everything I go through, this was the last words of my sister. I'm wearing her. This is her ashes. She on my back. This is a cup that represents her name. Her name was Lucky. I live. She lives with me now.
Yeah.
So don't try and put it back there so you don't feel it in here.
Yeah.
You gotta bring it up here and out of there and out of here. And, and it's going to be okay. That's part of healing.
Yeah.
And so incorporate that. It don't have to be sad. Okay.
Right.
This is what she would have wanted for you. This is how she's seeing you, so like, it's okay. Don't let, when she died, don't let the memory, don't put it back here.
Right. Remember all the good times.
This is part of who you are. I'm not going to say capitalize off of it, but this is make something of it.
Yeah.
Make something out of it. Whether it's a candle, do something. That's what I feel for you. In memory of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
For sure. Heal mode. You know what time it is.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you on my podcast and I'm gonna talk to you and we're gonna work on some things that's gonna help us to heal together.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
So when I get back, I'm starting a podcast back maybe in a month or so. I'm waiting on a little. I want you to be my first guest.
Oh,
There we go.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
I appreciate that for real.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
y'all so much for having me.
No, this is
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you for allowing me to reflect and, talk and heal with y'all.
Yeah, share. Drop some wisdom for all those barbers that are trying to grow in the growing phases. You dropped so much gems today. It was like a warm hug for growth. So this
And faith for the future.
Yeah.
Your latter days will be greater than your former days, which means
Absolutely.
the days ahead of you will
Yeah.
be so much greater than the ones behind you. We're gonna go through them tough times and those years because for the last 2 years, the Barber Exposed Theater, they didn't stop when I stopped.
Yeah.
They kept
Right.
going. And I felt left out for a time. And I had to go through my things I was going through. So everybody got their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody got their time.
It's
Y'all,
like you said earlier, God's timing.
y'all time coming. I'm excited to be here at the beginning.
Yeah, you at the
That's
foundation stages. This is definitely going to continue to grow. But like we're all in a process. Like life is a continuous journey. So as you go in your journey, understand that growth is going to happen. And as you grow with the growth that happens, then you'll be able to produce a big fruit. So I think that this has been fantastic today.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man. Yeah. So for
Thank
me,
y'all for having me.
yes, thank you for joining us. For real, you've really
Keep
blessed
on watching this. Keep going. Listen, you can make $1,000 a day.
Yeah,
That's right.
Consistency, hard work, and don't do it for the money. The money gonna
Yeah.
come.
Yep.
absolutely. Well, y'all heard it here first from DBEST herself. So for the rest of the world, we are gonna finish. We're gonna cap it off here at Elevated Barbers Podcast. Appreciate y'all. We are out.
Peace.
1, 2.